Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back again today with another fantasy football mock draft. Today, we are doing an 8-team half PPR draft from the third slot, as requested by one of my subscribers, Anthony M. So, before I start the video, I'd like to ask you guys, could go down below and please click that subscribe button down below. It would mean a lot, a lot, a lot. And I'm also, when you do that, you're going to pretty much be securing your own fantasy football championship, because I'm going to help you guys during the draft season. Every single day, I upload 3 videos. And then during the regular season, you're going to be getting content pretty much every single day on waiver wire, trades, matchups, streams, all that stuff. And then during the postseason, it'll be the same thing so you can win your championship. So let's get right in this video. Like I said, it's an 8-team half PPR from the third pick. So let's begin the draft. The first pick of the draft was Alvin Kamara, followed by Saquon Barkley. And that makes our decision even easier. We just get to get the best running back available. That is also pretty great in PPR or a half PPR format, and that's Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey looks to repeat a fantastic season from last year, a great fantasy season, a great real life season. I think he can do it. He pretty much is like a wide receiver that's also a running back, because he's not one of those guys who's just like James White, who gets like 8 targets a game, but only runs the ball 3 times. No, McCaffrey runs the ball like 14 times, 15 times, and then gets like 7 or 8 targets a game, and gets you 50 rushing yards, 50 rushing yards, 70 receiving yards, and a touchdown like every single game. He's crazy, and he's great for fantasy, especially in a half PPR format. That was an easy decision. So after McCaffrey, Zeke came off the board, followed by D Hop, Devontae Adams, DJ, Lev Bell, Michael Thomas, Julio Jones, Todd Gurley, James Conner, Odell Beckham Jr. So, something to notice here, Todd Gurley went in the second round. I would not go Todd Gurley there due to his knee arthritis. So, you just can't be doing that. You can't be fucking with that knee. So, you just completely avoid him. Now, since this is a half PPR league and it's an 8-team league, I'm more likely to go for that top tier tight end. And now you do this because everyone is going to have stacked running backs, stacked wide receivers, stacked flex, stacked quarterback, right? Everyone's quarterback and all those positions are going to be good, but not everyone's tight end is going to be good, because even if you have the 8th best tight end, compares nowhere near the amount of points that a guy like Travis Kelce is going to get every week. Travis Kelce is going to get like 12, 15 points every game, maybe even 20 or 25. Whereas a guy like, say, Eric Ebron, who is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th, exactly 8th quarterback or tight end off the board, is going to be scoring you like 8 points. So there's like a 6-point differential there, and you can easily get a good wide receiver later or a somewhat good running back later in an 8-team format. So it's very important to get that good tight end early. So that's why we're going to go with Travis Kelce here. After we selected Travis Kelce, Nick Chubb came off the board, followed by Dalvin Cook, Tyreek Hill, Joe Mixon. So no quarterback has been selected yet. Typically, Mahomes goes around the 4th or 5th round in these 8-team leagues, but in your at-home league, he could come off the board in the first round, because some people view quarterbacks a lot higher, and I'd prefer to just wait till later, because the value is still great later in an 8-team, 10-team league, 12-team league, 14-team league. In any type of format, the quarterback value is pretty good late. So, now, let's look at some more running backs. So I'd rather just go wide receiver here and then come back and get another solid running back in the next round, because the wide receiver right now that's still available, in my opinion, is by far and away a top 5 wide receiver. We're playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 7th running or wide receiver off the board price for a guy, in my opinion, who could be top 5, and that's Juju Smith-Schuster. Juju is looking to have an excellent year yet again this year. Now he's the wide receiver 1 on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I believe that if he is able to see the volume that I think he's going to be seeing, 10, 11, 12 targets a game potentially, going to be up there just like AB last year. He's going to be very, very, very good. He gets so many targets, which is beneficial for half PPR, PPR formats, and he's also going to be a guy who scores touchdowns, long touchdowns. You remember from his rookie year, that like 70-yard bomb from Big Ben against the Lions. You know he has the killer speed to be able to break off those runs. Great route running, and he looks to improve after being, I believe this is his 3rd year. Yes, this is his 3rd year in the NFL. Looks to improve on his sophomore season to become a truly elite fantasy football wide receiver option. So I love Juju here in the 3rd round. After we selected Mr. Juju Smith-Schuster, Damian Williams came off the board, followed by Pat Mahomes, Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, Kerryon Johnson, AB, T.Y. Hilton, Leonard Fournette, Adam Thielen, Melvin Gordon. So the first quarterback off the board was at the 3-5, pretty typical, like I said, go around the fourth, third round. Now this team right next to me at the fourth slot has Zeke, Odell, Damian Williams, Melvin Gordon. They went with the double holdout lineup. Don't do that. You can't be drafting Zeke. In my opinion, I just stray away from Zeke because of the holdout. Kind of scares me. I think he'll come back. Probably 1 or 2 games in the season, or even before that. Melvin Gordon could be out for 8 fucking games, so I'm just completely avoiding him. His value has climbed from or fallen from the first round to a guy that goes even late, like fourth, fifth round picks potentially. So, with that being said, I would like to go with another. Let's see. At the running back position, Marlon Mack, Aaron Jones, Devontae Freeman, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, and David Montgomery. So we can load up on 2 great running back assets here right in a row. So we're going to go with Marlon Mack, who in my opinion is going to be very safe. He's not as good of a PPR back because he doesn't get a lot of those receptions that a lot of backs around this range do tend to get. But at the exact same time, his value is just so great because he's on it with a great O line. The Colts are a good team, and he should be able to get a lot of opportunities to be scoring touchdowns. And I think that he's pretty safe. And he's getting like 15, 16, 17 touches a game. So I like that. And he'll still be getting, it's not like he doesn't get any passes. Like they still throw him the ball a couple of times a game, but he's not one of those guys who's seeing like, who when they get 4 or 5 targets is going to be running for 50 or is going to be catching for 50 yards. So we went Marlon Mack here. After we went Marlon Mack, Derrick Henry came off the board, followed by Stephon Diggs, Aaron Jones, Zach Ertz. Now, typically, these other 2 tight ends that go behind Kelsey, which is Ertz and Kittle, in a 8-team league, go around the 4th, 5th round. In a team league, not a team league, in a league with a lot less people, your form in a league with a lot more people, you are going to be seeing a lot of people. Holy shit, what am I talking about? Okay, so in a league with a lot more. Oh, guys, in a league with a lot more people, you're going to be seeing Ertz and Kittle go even higher, like in the 3rd or 4th round. But here they fall to like the 5th or 6th round at times. Now, sometimes in a league like this, you can see tight ends come off the board super fast. If they know the strategy that we know, because you're watching these videos, that Kelsey, Ertz, and Kittle are a huge advantage, they may go in like the 3rd round. And that's why I'm willing to pull the trigger on Kelsey in like the 1st round, if I'm being honest. If I was at like the 8th pick or the 7th pick, to guarantee that I dominate at that position because the 2nd round talent is still great at that position anyway, so it's perfectly fine. So let's go with what am I saying? Okay, so now we're gonna go with a running back or a wide receiver here. And we wait late for quarterbacks. We already got our tight end. So let's see. At the wide receiver position, still a bunch of good wide receivers still available. But at the running back position, I want to really solidify this position and get a flex that I think could be an RB1, potentially. And that is David Montgomery. His value has skyrocketed. I've seen him go in the 2nd or 3rd round in drafts. People are really buying into David Montgomery. Now, this is in like a 12 or 14 team league. In an 8-team league, he may still fall to the 5th round. But he is going to be so good this year that you need to buy in on that. He's a rookie. Yeah, that's true. But he played so great in preseason. You've seen him dominate in practice against the Bears defense. He's playing against one of the arguably the best defense in the league, and he's still putting up dominant performances. So for that reason, we're going to go with David Montgomery here. After we selected David Montgomery, George Kittle came off the board, followed by Devontae Freeman, Mark Ingram, Chris Carson, Amari Cooper, Robert Woods, Josh Jacobs, Julian Edelman, Philip Lindsay, Kenny Galladay. So like I said, the big 3 tight ends already off the board by the 5th round. Pretty typical. Now, let's look at the wide receiver position because we already got 3 running backs, a tight end. So we got to get our 2nd wide receiver. Now, there's a few guys available that I like. I like Cooks, I like Godwin, I like Lockett, and I like Ridley. I I don't like AJ Green because I don't trust his injury risk. Now, the thing is, he's going to be out likely a couple of games. He's going to be out a couple of games, so likely he could end up being worth the value slightly later. If you can get him in like the the 10th or 11th round. That's about where I like his value. But in the 6th round, I just am not touching him, because if you're out that many games, you're out 3 games, and you're already a guy who's so injury prone that he fucking wakes up, he trips out of bed, and his leg's broken. He always has this turf toe. He stubs his toe on the couch when he walks in. He says, "Hey, what's up?" to his fucking wife or some shit, and he stubs his toe, and he's out for a bunch of games. That's just what happens to AJ Green. So that's why we avoid him. Cooper Kupp is coming off that injury last year. I kind of try to avoid guys coming off injury the season before, because I think it's just more advantageous to have a guy who's been healthy for a while. So, with that being said, it's either Brandon Cooks or Chris Godwin for me, and I like both of these guys. And I think, gun to the head, I think I would go with likely. Sorry for that dramatic wait there. I would likely go with Brandon Cooks over Chris Godwin. Now, I think either of these picks could be great. And this isn't a decision, in my opinion, that makes or breaks your fantasy team, because both of these guys are going to be great. But I'd prefer to take the guy who's on the better offense, and that's Brandon Cooks. Now, I love Godwin because he is going to be on a team that's going to be playing from behind a lot, slinging the ball downfield behind in a lot of games. And obviously that's good for Godwin because he's the wide receiver 2 on that team. Brandon Cooks is on a team, one of the best teams in the NFL, with a quarterback who's looking to get even better, and with Kupp's injury still, in my opinion, being kind of prevalent, and I just don't really like Kupp. I prefer Woods to Cooks, but I think I would just go with Cooks here because I feel like he's a little bit more safe than Chris Godwin on a week-to-week basis. So after we went Brandon Cooks, Chris Godwin came off the board, followed by Tyler Lockett, Sony Michel, and AJ Green. So now I think the quarterback position, none have went so far besides Pat Mahomes, which is pretty non-typical, because a lot of the times you're seeing Pat Mahomes go in like the 3rd or 4th round, and then you see guys like Watson, Rodgers, Luck, Baker all come off the board slightly after. So that's pretty weird. So right here, if I was honestly right here, I would probably just go with Rodgers, because he's just a guarantee. Over 30 touchdowns, a bunch of yards, and is on a great team. So that's who I would go with here. I think that Rodgers is going to have a great season this year. I think he'll be the quarterback too. Now, he doesn't have that rushing upside that a lot of guys have. Yes, he rushes the ball some, but he's not like Deshaun Watson, who's going to rush the ball potentially like 10 times in some games. Rodgers might rush the ball 2-3 times a game and get you like 15 yards, and that's obviously an extra free point for you, but that's not what I mean when I'm talking about rushing quarterbacks. But he is a guy who could throw 300 yards a game, 2 touchdowns. He has deadly wide receivers, Devontae Adams, MVS, and Geronimo Allison. So I think that this team is going to be better this year. He only threw 30 touchdowns last year. He's going to throw more than that this year. He throws way more than 30 every single year. Typically, he got banged up at the beginning of last year. He was high on those painkillers, and I think that he is going to be a killer this year and be well worth this 7th round pick. After we went A-Raj, Deshaun Watson came off the board, followed by Calvin Ridley, Cooper Kupp, James Washington, Mike Williams, O.J. Howard, Tyler, yeah, Boyd, Jarvis Landry, Tevin Coleman, Tariq Cohen. Now, I know you guys who have watched these videos for months are telling me, "Oh, Nick, you hate Tevin Coleman." I know, but no, now I like Tevin Coleman because Jerick McKinnon, I believe, starting the season on the PUP, the pup, physically unable to perform. The whole team is in shambles at the running back position. It's looking like the Tevin Coleman and Burrito show. And Tevin Coleman from the past, you could see even if he's the RB2, he's going to be getting a lot of passes. And in the 8th round, that is definitely some solid value at that position for running back. So now we only have 3 running backs, so we're going to just load up on a bunch of running backs that I think have potential to have a true breakout season and just get some wide receivers later. So right here at the running back position, Lamar Miller still available, followed by Kenyon Drake, Darius Geis, Rashad Penny, Miles Sanders, Austin Eckler. So at this point, we're going to just go with the guy that I think is the safest pick here. Lamar Miller used to be king of safety. Now Duke Johnson's in town. May not be as safe. But today, as I'm recording this, Duke Johnson got hurt, so that's kind of worrisome to me. But with that being said, it's a hamstring injury. He should be fine for the beginning of the season. We're still, I believe, 4 weeks out from the beginning of the season, so we're just going to wait. That's perfectly fine. Or he's just going to be fine to just wait and then come back and then be in the offense. And he's a guy that's going to be riding your bench for a bit, so you don't have to start him week 1, so you don't even really have to necessarily worry about that injury as long as he returns not too early. So Lamar Miller's okay. I don't really want him. Kenyon Drake is a guy that I like because I think that he will be used in the passing game a lot. He will get those rushes, and even if it's a 50-50 split or 60-40 split between him and Kalen Ballage, I think that he's worth this pick here. And I'm just going to go with him because I think he's a lot safer than a lot of these guys that are on the board here. So, if Sleeper could casually pick Kenyon Drake for us, thank you. After we picked KD, Andrew Luck went followed by DJ Moore, Lamar Miller, Robbie Anderson. So now we get to get another running back, and this is a tough position we are in here. I don't like Geis, so he's just off the board due to the fact that there is going to be running back by committee there. It's going to be Geis, AP, Chris Thompson. Confusing, too confusing for me on a shitty team. Don't want anything to do with that. Penny, running back 1 or 2, running back 2 on the team could be the one. Who knows? I like him. Miles Sanders could emerge as the one on Philadelphia. Could be happening because he's playing pretty well in camp. And then Austin Eckler, also a guy I like to target because he played great in the preseason game. I hope his stats are here so we can look at it. Miles Sanders gobbles up chunks of real estate. Gobbling them. Rushed 5 times for 40 yards against the Cardinals. 8.0 yards per carry, 29 targets, or 29 yards with 3 targets, and I believe he scored as well. So, Eckler is worth picking in the middle rounds, they say, and I think I like Eckler the most here because I think Melvin Gordon is going to hold out, and I think that if he holds out 8 games, you're getting solid value from Eckler here. So after we went Austin Eckler, Alshon Jeffrey came up the board, followed by Evan Ingram, Darius Geis, Baker Mayfield, Matt Ryan, Rashad Penny, Dante Pettis, Miles Sanders, Latavius Murray, Christian Kirk, and now it is our pick yet again. So we're going to keep loading up on this running back value because the running back value does eventually run out in these 8-team leagues, even though it seems like it may not. We only have 2 receivers, so let's actually look towards the receiver department to see if we want any of these guys before we make a rash decision and go another running back. I think we would go wide receiver here because there are 2 guys I like at the wide receiver position, or 3 guys. Right here, I like Watkins, I like Allison, and I like MVS, and I like D.D. Westbrook, and I like Curtis Samuel. So there's a lot of guys still here. But I prefer, I think, to go with Sammy Watkins because he's not going to be starting for my team. He's going to just come in relief as the flex, or if Brandon Cooks or Juju get hurt. And I think that Sammy Watkins is going to have quite the productive year. Last year in the playoffs, he played fucking phenomenal. Scored 2 100-yard games in the playoffs. Now, you would think that they're using their best offense in the playoffs, and they will continue to use that Sammy Watkins if it worked in the playoffs. So I think he will be heavily involved this year as the wide receiver 2 on the team. I know we already have Travis Kelce, but he is Kansas City has Sammy Watkins as one of the premier players on that team. Not like he's some stud, but he's one of the top guys that's getting the ball. And if Pat Mahomes can somehow throw 50 touchdowns again, Watkins is going to get some of that. Watkins is going to be getting these yards. He's going to be getting this work, and he will have games where he disappoints you because there's other receivers on the team, guys like Connolly, Mecole Hardman, other guys like that could be vulturing some of his work. But at the same time, I think his value is well worth it in the 10th round to go with Sammy Watkins here. So after we went Sammy Watkins, A-Rob was taken, followed by Drew Brees, Hunter Henry, Will Fuller, and now we are faced with the decision. Do we want to build more running back depth here or just go with another receiver? Because if we build the running back depth, we could just go receivers later. But I would much rather just get one more wideout and then build that running back depth later. So we can go with either Geronimo, Marvin Jones, MVS, or D.D. Westbrook. And to me, this is an easy question because we already drafted Aaron Rodgers. So we want to get more of these Green Bay wide outs. So likely we will go with either Geronimo Allison or MVS. It's a fucking gamblers. It's a pick, you know. You pick one or the other. They're gonna probably be pretty similar towards the end of the season. So I'm just gonna go with MVS because I think that Rodgers does love targeting the outside guy. That guy that's going to be outside at the receiver position, outside the numbers. Rodgers is great at throwing the ball in that area, and I think that Geronimo Allison is going to be the slot guy, and MVS will be the outside guy, so I'd rather get him. Now, I don't mind getting Geronimo Allison. Typically, Geronimo started to go later than MVS, so his value is getting even better, like a round later. So I don't mind getting Geronimo. I don't mind MVS. It's either or, but I'll just go with MVS, the guy who I think will be better. So after we went Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Darrell Henderson has been selected, followed by the Chicago Bears defense, Jared Cook, Marvin Jones, Geronimo Allison, Jordan Howard. Eric Ebron, Carson Wentz, Sterling Shepard, Larry Fitzgerald. Currently, every team has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Every team has a quarterback, and we don't draft backup quarterbacks in 8-team leagues because you can just pick them up off the waiver wire. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 wide receivers. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 running backs, and you want to have more running backs than receivers, so we're just going to draft some more running backs. Kareem Hunt is the top pick here according to the thing, but you don't want to be, according to Sleeper, but you don't want to be drafting some guy that's suspended for like 8 fucking games. That's just idiot, That's just an idiot move. Kareem Hunt is, he's going to come back and have some value. I would assume some value, but not that great of value. He's not that good. He's a fucking kicker, you know what I'm saying? Kareem Hunt karate chop, you know what I'm saying? But I don't really like him here, so I would not be taking him here. So after Kareem, there's Royce Freeman. He's the second best option according to Sleeper, and my favorite option here, the Rolls fucking Royce. Now I like Royce Freeman here because I think that his value is going to kind of move up. He was like a 6th, 7th round fantasy pick last year. Now he's fallen all the way down because he didn't have that great of a rookie season. Now the thing was, Philip Lindsay was getting a lot of this work because of how well he worked the first couple of games, but now Royce Freeman has stayed healthy throughout the whole season. Philip Lindsay got hurt towards the end of the season. Will that impact his game this year? Potentially. And Royce Freeman played pretty good in the first preseason game, has shown up in camp, and they are saying that it's going to be a 50-50 split between the Rolls Royce and Philip Lindsay. So, and now Theo Riddick's there, I believe. Let's see. Let's just type in Theo. Theo Riddick is on Denver, so that is kind of scary. But it's perfectly fine because this is your 12th round pick and Rolls-Royce has some high upside. So after we went with Rolls-Royce, LaShawn McCoy was picked, followed by D.D. Westbrook, Kareem Hunt, and then Ronald Jones. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 running backs and 1, 2, 3, 4 wide receivers. So either here we could go with one more running back or one more wide receiver. And we don't need a backup tight end because we have Kelsey. We don't need a backup quarterback because it's an 8-team league. So it's either running back or wide receiver, and I think I would just much rather get more value at running back because you can always trade like two of these guys. You can't anticipate trades, but a lot of these guys you're drafting late here that I'm telling you to draft could be guys you could potentially trade a few weeks in the season. Like Eckler, you could trade that to the Melvin Gordon owner as soon as Melvin Gordon holds out, and you're getting a lot of value from that, or you just hold him. Guys like Royce and Kenyon Drake could be, you package them together, you can get a guy like Tyreek Hill, a guy like Stefon Diggs, a guy like Chris Godwin if you really started hurting at wide receiver. So you could just, and you could, in an 8-team league, you can easily pick up a wide receiver on the waiver wire. See, a lot of these guys, a guy like Kiki may not get drafted, a guy like Deshaun Jackson may not get drafted, a guy like Tyrell Williams, John Brown, Josh Gordon if he ever comes back, Traquan Smith, all going to be undrafted. So you could just pick those guys up on the waiver wire. So we're just going to get one more running back, and we are just going to go with Mr. Matthew Burita to guarantee that we have a running back that I think could be the RB1 on San Francisco, be the lead back. Now reports out of camp are that he's all over the field running. He's playing great as a running back, playing great catching passes out of the backfield, and I believe he will be great this year. So let's go with Matt Breida here. After we went Matt Breida, Russell Wilson came off the board, followed by Vance McDonald, Kyler Murray, David Njoku, Jalen Samuels, Rams, Jags, Chargers, Will Lutz, Vikings, and now it's our pick. So the way you're going to go defense is you're going to go on Google, type in NFL schedule week 1, and then you draft the defense that's playing a shitty offense week 1, and that's all you have to do. So we're going to go with the Cowboys because they are playing the Giants. After we went with the Cowboys, Baltimore Ravens were picked, followed by Justin Tucker, Cleveland Browns, Greg Zuerlein, and now we go with the kicker. And the best kicker available is Mr. Harrison Bucker. And then after we went Harrison Bucker, Steven Gostkowski went, followed by Cortland Sutton, Kyle Fairbairn, Robbie Gould, and Jake Elliott. So our finishing starting lineup at quarterback, we got our quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. Our 2 RBs are Christian McCaffrey and Marlon Mack. Our 2 wideouts are Juju and Brandon Cooks. Our tight end is Travis Kelce. Our flex is David Montgomery. Our kicker is Harrison Bucker. Our defense is Dallas Cowboys. Our bench is comprised of Kenyon Drake, Austin Eckler, Sammy Watkins, MVS, Royce Freeman, and Matt Breida. So thank you guys all for watching. If you did enjoy, please go down below. Click that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me. It's going to help you win your fantasy league, and it's just going to be the fucking best for you. Thank you guys all for watching. I hope you have a great goddamn day. Come back later. There's going to be a video at 1:15 and 5:15 EST or whatever fucking time zone you're in. Have a great goddamn day. I love you all. Goodbye, boys.